Guys, happy Wednesday. This is Danielle and Alex for Rise and Grind. From the playing field to parenthood, we are on season 2, episode 28, if I'm not mistaken. And we are coming at you less than 24 hours after the release of a certain someone's big debut.
I know. Kind of crazy. Yesterday was definitely, this has been a work in progress the last couple of years. I had
Mhm.
signed to do stuff with this company maybe 2 years ago with a timeline that they wanted stuff a lot faster than what I was able to produce. So they've been incredible with giving me some grace to just, we're in the work season with ESPN and then the kids. And so they've been amazing and they gave me some time, and time I think is the one thing that you don't want to rush when it comes to this type of stuff.
Yeah.
um I have a copy of the book. They only sent me a couple copies, but it's actually like I got it and I was like, wow, I'm like really like proud of myself.
That's huge. You're a published author.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just maybe you win the New York Times. I'm like, no, honey, it's not that type of a book. I'm like, this is a book for, you know, obviously anyone can read it, parents can read it. There's a couple others that eventually are going to come out that are going to dive into deeper stuff like mental performance. This one is simply like the story of when I started playing the game and the good and the bad and the hard stuff and the things that I really wish that I would have done better, and kind of moments throughout my career that maybe not a lot of people know about, right?
Mhm.
Like the beauty of sport is that you go through things where I feel like you learn a lot about yourself in a ton of different ways that not only help you moving forward, but like lessons that you want to be able to teach the next generation or your kids. So there's definitely been some things through sport that I've learned that I love that these athletes will get to read, and it'll kind of maybe there's a couple of things where they go like, oh dang, like she did that or she acted like that. And it's like I'm not embarrassed to look back on my career and know that there was definitely some things that I could have done different. I like that it, I don't know, allowed me to kind of learn and grow in the sport. I was fortunate enough to play it for a really long time. Not everyone gets to play it that long, you know?
No,
You
and
play college and then you're done.
and I think too, like it taking you like it's just a testament to like you're not like you are a perfectionist, but like you also like when you do something, you do it with like everything you have. Like that's a whole like that's a huge piece of like who you are as an athlete, as a parent, as a mom, like all of these things. And so when you're pouring yourself into something like this, like of course you're going to take the time to make sure that it's the best quality that you can put out there and like really
Yeah.
voice is it's true to who you are and like what you sound like. And I think that that's important for people to understand is like this is kind of like a piece of you,
Yeah.
and it's you've kind of put it out there as a way to like digest and understand, and that's vulnerable. Like
Yeah.
as much as this is vulnerable, like what we do here, I think that like putting a pen to paper, like it's in writing now, and
Yeah.
proud of
Yeah.
you. It's so
Thank
exciting.
you. And it's been a fun week because, they've helped me launch like my website. So the book is a key piece to like one of the main things that I wanted to do. But like
Right.
ultimately, it was to be able to have this website where softball pitchers are going to be able to have access to me with videos that have been created to help you from like the bottom up, you know?
Nice.
So like right now throughout the week, they can buy the course package of all the pitching stuff and then they get the book for free, and then at the end of the week you'll have to buy stuff a la carte on its own, so it's a hell of a deal. But I'm passionate too about like the video stuff,
Yeah.
like not everyone has access to a pitching coach or the financial means to be able to pay week to week to be able to have that right in their back pocket. So that's super exciting that that's out. I've already filmed a whole bunch of stuff in the next couple of months that we'll be able to launch with kind of that beginner, intermediate, advanced. Like there's so many different things that you can put out there if you have the people that are in your corner to help you do it. And for
Yeah.
so long, it's daunting, the internet and websites and how to do all that. I had no idea how to do it. So finding a company that has your back and will help you every step of the way has made it to where I'm like, oh, I'm not scared to do that. I think in the past, trying to seek out or build your own website. I mean, I don't know if you're good at that stuff, but I tried. And it was one of the worst experiences of my life. I'm like texting my husband every couple of minutes, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm paying, but I have to create this. So find a company that best suits you and that like is in alignment with everything and where you want to go. And then it just makes it so much smoother.
Well, because then you can focus on like the piece that you want to focus. Like you don't care like about like the design piece of it. It's just not like what you're in it for. So like you can really focus on the material and the content and making sure that it's like what you want it to look like and sound like and all the things.
It's fun. I'm excited. I am excited. It's great. It happened. It was supposed
Grab
to happen.
yours today. Make sure you guys sign up and we'll put all the links so that you guys have them all, but it's super
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but we also had sort of like a theme that came up a couple weeks ago in one of your question boxes
Yeah.
regarding lessons, training, and practice. Basically, the fan said it's all so much so young, but kids fall behind if they're not doing everything all the time, if they're not doing all the lessons, the training, and the practice. But then we're like putting a pretty heavy load of expectations and time commitments on them. So, kind of wanted to open that up for a little bit of a discussion from like our perspective.
Yeah. Tough question, right? I think you and I grew up playing this game, and I'm a little bit older than you. Like, we grew up with maybe such less expectations and less pressure. There was no internet, there was no seeing where you could potentially go. There was this sense of like, dang, I want to do it because I it's so much fun. And
Right.
I'm not saying that like at my youngest daughter's age or your youngest kiddo's age, like when they're playing and like, oh my God, this is so fun. Like,
Right.
um, and now I think when you put your kids in youth sports as a parent, you've seen the stuff on the internet. So if you don't know what you don't know, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we know what it's like to have played at a pretty high level, to have done all the things. Past may look different, but the destination was the same with where we were trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think parents sometimes see everything on the internet and the pressures and where other athletes are at. Um, so it seems to like, I will say, I feel like parents trim the fat a lot sooner, meaning like more one sport
Focused.
quicker,
Mm-hmm.
focused, yes, because it's tough to upkeep all of those things. I mean, God, I could talk forever about this topic. I will say, and then I'll let you speak and we can just keep bouncing back and forth. Like, I loved that I could play multiple sports
Mm-hmm.
for a really long time. I played softball at the highest level. I played soccer until probably 12 or 13 and stopped, and started playing basketball in the fifth grade all the way through my senior year of high school. I wouldn't have been the softball player that I was if I didn't play basketball to the level that I did and extent that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also am grateful that my parents were very headstrong on not just focusing on one sport. Um,
Yeah.
Understanding the body and the movements and being coached differently, and like, very uniquely different sports too. Like basketball, softball were so different. Like basketball was
Mm-hmm.
quick, the fitness was different, the intensity, like shit, I was on a really good team that we rolled through fifth grade all the way through senior year of high school together. Like we were tight. It was incredible. If I could have played basketball in college, I would have. 5'7" and post player, it's just not going to work. But so those are just a couple things until we can kind of dive deeper that I am fortunate to have had multiple sports parents that were big on that piece.
And I think too, it's important to note the shift that has happened with travel and club. I think us growing up when we did, it was in its infancy, really. It was like a newer concept, I feel like. The
Yeah.
club, the elite, the travel, the like we're gonna pay to play a sport type of thing and
Yeah.
commit to this on the weekends. Because when we were growing up, like little league and stuff, it wasn't really on the weekends that much. You might have a game on Saturday, but it was a lot of weekday. And I think somewhere along the line, there were so many kids playing rec. And I think maybe as a society, people started saying, well, my kid's better than that. So I want
Mm.
to put them in the elite club space. And more people started doing that. And maybe it
Yeah.
was like a well, they're doing it, so we're going to do it. And
Yeah.
I don't think it was a shift that happened organically. I think it was a shift that maybe we kind of, as a never ending society of comparisons, pushed on ourselves. I think
Mhm.
there was a lot of pressure in wanting to always say, my kid's the elite one, my kid's the all-star, my kid's better than this. Like, it
Yeah.
just, I think that that's consumed us as a society, the social media, all of the things where it's just constant comparison, it's constant side by side, I'm better. Like, it's kind of sickening when you think about it like that. But I think that it's definitely caused that shift in understanding that the purpose of travel and club and elite level sports was to elevate athletes further than what little league or rec could do. It
Agreed.
wasn't to teach them the foundations and get them to understand like what sport might be their sport. The purpose was to then take what was already there and elevate it further.
Yeah.
So the issue now with little league and rec and, plain Jane sports is that the kids don't get that anymore. I think it's been completely like transmutated into this new thing where it's like everybody wants to be a double A team, everybody wants to be a club team, and so there is no foundation anymore.
Yeah.
And it's so depressing because I think you and I are both the type of people that will, okay, well, we'll step in and do it and make sure that they get that, to ensure that like our girls or our boys and their friends and the people that we know value that as well can still have that experience, because we know how important it is to do multiple sports, to have just fun
Yeah.
until they're at that higher level. But there are so many parents that don't either have the resources or have the wherewithal to say, my kid might not be ready for club, my kid might not be the best, and maybe that's okay to just
Yeah.
stay in rec, but that's like unacceptable now. So it's really hard training wise to understand where that line is. I think picking quality teams needs to come first.
Hmm.
So making sure that like you're in an organization that values the foundations, that values the fun aspect of it,
Yeah.
until like middle school.
Yeah.
At the very least, like it should still be fun. It should still be getting them into as many activities as they want, letting them try new things, letting them be creative about it, and understanding that if they want to go further, because both of our girls have played elite for a while now, but that's
Hmm.
because we saw the signs, number one, that they were higher level than maybe a rec would have been, and
Yeah.
they had the desire to do it. It
Yes.
wasn't us driving that sort of route. It was like,
Yeah.
I want more of this. And so
Yeah.
we honored that. But if it weren't for that, if Penelope hadn't picked soccer, if Maddie hadn't picked softball and maybe basketball, like AAU and stuff like that, I think both of us would have just been okay. Like, okay, let's just keep doing the rec stuff. Like, let's just keep trying stuff out until you figure it out. Because
Yeah.
sports for us is like a non negotiable, pretty
Yeah.
much. I don't care
Agreed.
what sport it is, as long as you play something.
Yeah.
So I think even if they would have not latched on to what their sport is, I think we would have continued that. And so that's my biggest piece of advice, is if your kid hasn't like completely blown away the competition and said like, I want to keep doing this, I have a love for this game, I want to push it further,
Yeah.
continue to keep it fun, continue to like rec practice 2 times a week, 1 game a week. Like, don't overdo that,
Yeah.
because they will burn out so quickly, and you might be limiting them to a box that they might not fit in when high school comes around. And that's not fun either.
I do feel like kids get a lot more burnt out now than they ever have because of all the factors, right? Of the pressure they feel of playing on maybe a high level team, the pressure the coaches put on them, the pressure the
Mm-hmm.
parents, like, and then the younger that these kids get on social media, the things that they see, those are all factors that can come into altering your performance if you don't have a good handle on it. I do think that there are far too many teams that think they're great and they're not great. And so, unfortunately, when you have all of these teams, I mean, you can put your kid on a team, and as a parent, you're expecting, because this organization that like, oh, this team should be really good, and they're just like not really good.
Yeah.
Like that happens so much, and I can't agree with you more. It's like making sure you're like doing your homework on like the organization and seeing like foundationally where they're at, the coaches, like what are they trying to teach and instill in these players, because it starts so much younger, and at times it's like, oh, just pull your name out of the hat, it's time to go and play select, let's just go with this organization, they got all these teams, they must be really really good. That's not always the case. I do think that youth sports is the biggest money grab that no one talks about. I think there is a lot of money spent on shit that should not be, because parents don't know. I really believe that. And I don't have all the answers to why that is the way it is. I do know when you have these organizations that have these beautiful facilities, right? All of those
Bells and
things cost
whistles.
money.
Hmm.
Totally get that. Still waiting for a dome or something here in the Pacific Northwest so we can play throughout the whole year. If anyone wants to fund that, I know Chris Pratt's from the area. I wouldn't mind if he wants to. But like, so those are all things right out of the gate. I think no matter what, you will always feel this sense of, is my kid going to fall behind?
Hmm.
Right? There's times I feel that with my kid. Um, Playing in Washington State, I feel that. Is she getting enough healthy competition? Because you leave the state of Washington, you go play teams. There's a lot of times we get our asses kicked,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
California teams, those Texas teams, those Arizona teams, they're dialed. They're outside all year long. Lucky. I do think um, if you have that feeling in your gut of if your kid's falling behind, it's not a bad thing, because you're always wanting to kind of push them and elevate them to want to get better. The rules that right now with my kids' ages that I'm trying to live by is like, since we've switched teams, we have a little bit more free time, right? Monday nights, we have nothing, which is great.
Hmm.
We have practices Tuesdays and Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. We don't have softball unless it's a tournament. I make it a mandatory Monday night something, right? Like last night, Andrew took Maddie to the cages. They went and hit for an hour. Audrey and I played catch and pitched in the backyard. Short lived with her because her brain's like, oh, the neighbors are on the trampoline. Let's go. But yeah. Um, and there's a lot of times I don't really give my kids a choice with it.
Yeah.
It's not shitty. It's not like, oh my God, it's daunting. Trust me, we have those workouts where we will go do stuff, and I have to like kind of give Maddie a heads up, like, hey, we are going to finish with a little bit of running today or this. I just make it sometimes non-negotiable. I do think when you give kids a choice, they will say no because of all the other things that they have going on. I can
Hmm.
tell the difference with my kids when they are really tired or they're unmotivated because they're just tired. Of course, we don't push
Exhausted.
past
Right.
that. We don't
That's
push
different.
past
Yep.
that. But if it's simply, I want to play this game on my phone, or I want to be texting with my team softball group chat, no, we put the phone away. We're going to go and we're going to pitch before you play soccer. And then you're going to go to soccer practice and it's going to be great. We
Hmm.
did that last week, and she was pissed off that we were going to pitch at soccer and she had to wait around an hour. And it was one of the best pitching sessions that we had had. And we finished. And I'm like, I'm really proud of you. You learned a new pitch. You had for the most part, a pretty good attitude, which doesn't seem to happen as much
As
anymore.
often. Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's those are the types of like building blocks that don't make you feel like you're falling behind. I think when she goes to basketball, she's building herself up for not only basketball, but like giving her confidence to be able to play softball at a high level. I mean
Yeah.
that. She may not be working on the skill set in that moment for softball, but the mental toughness, the physical fitness,
Hmm.
the confidence that you get through playing and doing hard things transpires to all sports. I
Right.
do feel that way. Um, but it really comes down to, are your kids good enough? Be
That's a hard question. That's the one where you really have to like reflect. Like, are they really that good?
yeah, hard. Everyone thinks their kids are the freaking best. I am so real with that stuff,
Yeah.
but that's also, I feel like, what has made me cutthroat, my kids included. Like people say stuff or praise something or a situation or something about Maddie, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like these are things that like she really needs to get better at. Maybe right now it looks like she's great at those things. Or with Audrey, right? Well, just wow, she's such a good little pitcher for 8. I'm like, no, but like she can throw one strike out of like 8 pitches. Like that, like there's things that we need to be able to break down. Yes, she's super young. We got to keep it fun because if we don't, she's not going to want to do it.
Hmm.
But I just think my dad, I remember, definitely saw something with my brother and I, when it came to just straight up athleticism,
Hmm.
competing. My
Yep.
brother and I competed heavy against each other in our upbringing, which always had this kind of me against the world mentality, right? It's like, I'm always going to want to try to beat my brother. We got to an age where that started to become a little bit challenging because he was such a freak athlete. But the healthy competition ignited that to where when I went to sports, I didn't want to lose.
Yeah.
I didn't want to lose. I always want to be the best. Not saying that needs to be the end all be all, but playing this sport at a high level requires sometimes a different type of mental capacity to want to be the best. I never wanted to play sports because it was like okay to lose.
No,
I
it's never.
hated losing.
Yeah.
And what could I have done differently? What did I not do to like help in that situation? I
And
always felt,
that's a
yeah,
piece that
it's a
if you
piece.
can't do that,
Uh-huh.
if your young athlete cannot look at a game and say, these are the 3 things I did good, but there's 7 things I did wrong that I need to
Mm,
be better at. If they can't do that ugly truth situation,
yeah,
if you're not teaching them to do that,
yeah,
to yes, acknowledge the positives always, but you have to correct the mistakes too. And it is the hardest piece because our kids are the greatest. They're awesome. They're wonderful. But like talking to Penelope last night, she's struggling potentially moving to the B team because she's not a volleyball player.
yeah,
And, I straight up told her, I said, from what I have seen, from the opportunities that you've had, the plays that you've had, you are not a detriment to that A team. You are not the reason they are losing. I
yeah,
said, and she's like, honest with me, you would definitely tell me if I was the problem. I was like, exactly. But
yeah,
like, don't you respect that so much more? Like, from the person that you're supposed to trust with everything, who loves you unconditionally, I would always want the truth.
yeah. And like, I'm always going to give you the truth, but also be the first person to help get you where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So you may not like what I have to hear or have to say, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
but there's definitely been times like after certain games where it's other people. Well, they did this and they did this. And I'm like, absolutely not, man. Like, you got to look yourself in the mirror and self reflect on situations that you were in where you could have been completely different. You could have been someone in a situation to call time and go take a second, give someone a break. There was how many at bats you got in that game? You got one hit. What about the other hit with a runner on third base? And you ground it out. It's part of the game. The failure is the part of the game. But when we start to get to the point as parents, when we allow them to put blame on other people at times and not really be able to like take ownership, and I get it, team sports mean at times when you lose, it
It's
does feel sometimes like it's someone else's
not your
fault. It
fault.
does, because
Exactly.
if unfortunately that's the way those types of sports work, right? It's the closest tight knit teams I feel like are the ones that are able to get over the hump of that stuff. Like, oh, it
Mm.
may feel like in a moment, like, man, I gave up a home run to lose a game. Like, shit, I feel that. I'm sorry, you guys. And you feel it for a second, and then you learn like all I can control is like the work that puts me in the position to do that and be different in that next opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very much that way with my kids. Sometimes maybe it seems like a little bit too much, but I want them to know that there's always room to continue to get better. Pointing the finger at anyone else doesn't mean that the team won. You just look like a shitty teammate. Hate that.
And 100% this carries over. This is something in life, not whether they play college sports, whether they
Yeah.
go professional, like of course it would apply in those situations, but in circumstances professionally, when you're working on a team, when you work in an organization where there are other team members and you are constantly the one saying it's all of you, it's never me, that is not the type of person you like. It's not going to serve you anything to be blindsided to your own limitations or shortcomings or mistakes. to be able
Yeah.
to own up to things and say, hey, this is how this went down. This is where I made the mistake. This is what I can do better next time. Like
Yeah.
that piece to managers, to directors, whatever you want it, like companies, corporations, that's what they want.
Yeah.
They know you're going to make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. But if you can't exemplify the ability to self reflect that
Yeah.
starts in places like youth sports, that it's taking you out of a lot of positions that where you could be successful.
It's a lot of parents,
Yeah.
unfortunately. It's the
I
parents that like allow the behavior. They're the ones in the car that are being like, well, that was her fault or that was his fault, not yours. Yeah, I get it. We feel that way as parents. We see things. We expect sometimes better results. We realize that
mm-hmm.
when mistakes are made and it's not our kid and we lose the game, we fucking feel it. I get it. But those kids hear us and they speak like us. So the words that you hear kids say to their peers is a reflection of like what's being said at home. You got to be mindful of how you speak about other people and other people's kids, especially when it comes to the sports stuff. Um, when I think about this question where it's like feeling like you're falling behind and doing all the things and trainings and lessons, and when you play multiple sports, sometimes it is harder to find time to be able to put
Balance
work
it.
into certain
Mm-hmm.
sports. I think in your gut, you have to know, okay, what is kind of that sport that like it looks like my kid may have the best opportunity in? If it's all of them, that's incredible. Love that. Good luck trying to do lessons
Yeah.
and find extra time when you're playing 3 sports year round or 2 year round. I do think being able to play other sports and not having maybe all the time in the world, like we don't do extra soccer trainings. We don't have the time. I will try to take the girls out to do extra basketball stuff when we're in basketball season just to get extra shots, get to practice early, try to get, all of those things done. But we've made softball the priority. When we have extra time, that's what we spend time doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, with softball, it's like not just one thing, it's pitching and hitting and defense. There's a lot of different things.
More moving parts. Yeah.
So it's being able to be real with that sense. Okay, where's my kid at? What's the sport that they are the most passionate about and have the best chance?
Yeah.
When I have extra time, that needs to be the sport that we're putting.
Next. Yeah.
When I'm seeking out lessons, like, is this the best fit for my kid? Does it feel right? Does my kid leave those lessons feeling like they're on top of the world? That
Are
was
you
always my
seeing
goal.
improvement? Yeah.
Yes. I loved connecting with athletes on that level. Like for them to leave and feel this sense of empowerment meant
Mm-hmm.
that I did my job.
Yeah.
That's how I want kids to leave when they do lessons, not absolutely dread it and then they leave and then just bad attitude because that doesn't translate into the game. Then they're not motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you have to find time. You know what I mean? You have to find time to work a little bit. Required practices, if we don't do more outside of that, it really is hard to better your game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with school hours and
Yeah. We got
stuff,
homeschool now. Yeah. There's
it
no
is
other way.
hard. So you find the time. Doesn't always have to be that you pay someone to work with your kid. Shoot, like we have a tee and a bunch of drill stuff that Andrew has wrote out for Maddie to do, and he likes her to try to get X amount of times in the garage on the tee. Um, Obviously, I'll find time if we got to pitch before soccer and we pitch for 40 minutes, and then you go to your soccer practice. We will find the time. You
Mm-hmm.
always find the time if your kid shows interest, may not be 100% wanting to do it, but I do know how good they feel after for the most
Right.
part, unless it's a battle like mom and daughter going at it. But I know that like they feel this sense of like, oh shit, I did that. Put that in the mental piggy bank, had a good workout, worked on this. I'm leaving it feeling better than when I started.
Yeah.
Never have I ever regretted doing a workout or doing something like that. You
No.
always sometimes dread the hard stuff, but when you do it, it's just another like building block that makes you stand a little bit taller. Like, dang, I did that. I feel like a badass. And that's what I try to do for my kids or when I'm around other kids in the game.
Yeah. It's
The
a it's
time.
a it's a struggle. It's not something that's going to come easy. It takes work,
Mhm.
but when you prioritize that over everything else, when you prioritize picking the right organization, picking the right sport, picking the right coach, picking the right extras, whether it's lessons, whether it's just extra reps, whatever it is, if you're putting the time that you would put into buying a product, right? Checking the
Uh-huh.
reviews, testing it out, making sure that it's meeting all the things that they carry the same values, that it's with the same end goal of like furthering your child in that sport or in their growth.
Yeah.
Just being realistic with yourself and like really like reflecting on that, I think takes a lot of the extra stuff out of it. Because there's a lot of noise when it comes to sports.
So much. It's a lot of noise all the time these days. It's crazy.
That's
Youth
putting it
sports,
mildly. Yeah.
yeah, youth sports is just it's a cult. You have to have the right mindset, right team. You have to have the right people in your corner, the right parent group, because you learn real quick the things that you look forward to going to and the things that you start to dread going to. And when you as a parent dread stuff, that's not healthy either
And they
because
can
it's your
feel that.
time. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's your money. And then everything becomes, you know, you're short to your kid because like I said, seeing the last couple weeks of Maddie and practicing and being with this team, it's like we have like a 90-minute drive to practice later today. And I haven't dreaded doing it one time because I know how much I look forward to going and seeing her around those athletes. It's been great for me to be around these coaches, right? Like I think I said, Becky Logan, I can't remember her maiden name, played at Ole Miss. Maddie Husky played at Washington. Like there is an attention to detail of things that I absolutely love. And the fact that like Andrew and I get to be a part of it and help has been incredible that
Yeah.
way. But like there were definitely times over the last couple of years with our practice schedules where I'm like, dang, we're going 4 days in a row, man. Like I'm tired.
Yeah.
So I think there's a smart way too sometimes to practice where it's not like every single day on the weekend or like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday in the fall where it's like, hey, we go hard on Tuesday, we go hard on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, get your own work in. We'll see you again on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I've loved that. That's been very beneficial for her and for our family. So it's also understanding you don't have to play on a team that practices
Every day.
every day
Mm-hmm.
or 4 or 5 days a week. Like there also is things that you have to remember. Maybe this is just me, but Monday nights when we technically don't have sports other than what we are wanting to do with our kids fills my battery up so much. Got
Yeah.
Monday night football on, making
Mm-hmm.
dinner. Like I am just chilling without it. Like we went to a one of the schools that had a little jamboree for the middle school softball yesterday after school. And we just sat and watched with the kids for a little bit. And I was like, oh, this is great. We don't feel like we're rushing to anything.
Yeah.
When you're able to scale back that or have a day or two a week where you feel like you can fill your bucket up with your family,
Yeah.
kids go to school. I feel like we're like, oh, okay, we got to do our work, we got to do our stuff. But then they get home and it's like, oh my God. So when you have one day a week or a couple days where you're getting to just be present with your family, dang, it feels good.
The quality over the quantity, I think, is a key piece too. Like that's the theme of that is not
Yeah.
if you're on a team that feels like they need to practice every single day and they're going
Yeah.
2 hours a day, it's like that's overkill. That is
Yeah.
overkill.
Yeah.
So it's hard to balance for sure. And I think it's like what you said, it's like that being able to reset, understanding that like what I value is having at least one night a week, if not two, to reset, to like come back together as a family, to make sure everybody's like good mentally. That's huge for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
The mental stuff, I think for me sometimes it does feel like you're running on empty
mm-hmm.
once they get home, right? Like can do what I want at times during the day when I'm not working in the softball season. And I'm very grateful to be able to do that. But I used to dread as soon as I got home from school, it was like, oh, dude, we're gone from
Going nonstop. Yeah.
9 o'clock at night. It's hard. How do we upkeep that? And that's hard for a lot of families that have more than just a couple kids. It
Yeah.
is, but you got to feel it in your gut. You got to see the happiness in your kid. You have to be smart. You have to follow your gut. I say that a lot. Like You know, as a parent, what feels good and what doesn't feel good. Falling victim to the peer pressure of seeing all the other things, or like, I hate that. I won't be a part of that crowd. At the end of the day, I feel like I've experienced enough, my husband has in sports, to be able to know the difference between right and wrong. Um, and a good fit team for our kid and not a good fit team and all those things. And I will always listen to that over anything.
Yeah.
Uh, Sports are great. We want to push them to the next level. We want them to, if they want to pursue it at the collegiate level, awesome. But at the end of the day, it's all about the journey and not the rush to the destination. I feel
All the
like we're
lessons.
always
Yeah.
so quick to like, oh, we see this and we want them to have this, and I want to give them the best opportunity to play in college. Hell yeah, all of that's great. But don't rush to try to get there and take them out of where they are at in every, part of their life, their age, their, if we
Yeah.
rush it before you know it, then there's just the college coaches at games, and then there's a different element of pressure, and there's just, I don't want to
You'll miss
fast
it. Yeah.
I don't want to fast forward it. I want to be right now at age 11 and 8, and I'm good. I'm good. If I could stay here for a couple more years, I would, before it starts to really feel shitty and hard. And are they going to do it at the next level? What recruiting tournaments are they going to? Are there college eyes on them? I don't want to even think about that stuff
Don't
yet.
forget the hormones that are coming. Don't forget
Oh,
those.
yes, those already are here. So I don't know.
That's
What
another
do you mean
level
by
of
that?
complexity. Yeah, that'll that'll change things up for
It's a
sure.
lot. It's a
But
lot. Yeah.
we appreciate you guys listening in. We know it's been a long week. So we're excited that we still get the chance to connect with you all. And just remember, like, we're putting out good vibes. We're always thinking of you all and all of the things that you guys are going through as parents and as athletes. And, we're here for you guys. If you have questions or if you're not sure about your gut feeling, tell us about it. And,
Mm,
we're happy to provide our perspective and see if it helps you see the light. And
yeah.
if nothing else, just have a good rest of your week and lean on those people inside your circle. I'm sure people are more willing to help than you think they are. It's when you put
True.
that aside and you have the courage to ask the questions and put yourself maybe in a little bit of an uncomfortable situation, you'd be surprised. So we hope you guys have a good week, and we'll see you next week.